The Pittsburgh Steelers, you guys, are not looking like they are in a good position because their quarterbacks just cannot stay healthy. But are they rebuilding? How's everybody doing today? It's Sports Cell back with another video. Today, I'm going to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and if they're rebuilding or not. Before I start, though, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell and leave a like on this video. But without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so let's start off with their quarterbacks. Now, last year, the Steelers had a lot of trouble with their quarterbacks because they just couldn't stay healthy. It started off with Ben Roethlisberger, who the year before that, he had an incredible year, throwing over 5,000 yards. He would get injured and he would miss the whole season. Then after it would be Mason Rudolph, who would start for a bit, but then after he would get injured. Then after it would be Devlin Hodges who would come in, and then after he would be the quarterback. Yeah, basically, the Steelers would start 3 quarterbacks last year, and overall, it was just kind of a big mess. Last year, they would finish 8-8, but second in the division. So, before some of you guys go saying the Steelers are rebuilding, what do you think? Listen up. Like I said the first time, the Steelers finished 8-8 last year, second in their division, which 8-8 is not the best. I mean, it's a record right at 500, not too crazy, nothing for making the playoffs, but still, they ended up getting 8 wins, even though they lost this many, even though they had this many injuries. But imagine if Ben Roethlisberger would have stayed healthy that season. They could have potentially made the playoffs because Roethlisberger, the year before that, he was looking really good. But in week 1, he did get crushed by the New England Patriots. But still, the year before that in 2018, he was incredible. But I'm going to give you guys some reasons why it doesn't look like the Steelers are rebuilding. Number 1, their offensive line. Now, their offensive line, well, it was pretty good last year. One of the best in the league. And there are really good players in that offensive line like Raymond Foster or Marquise Pouncey or David DeCastro, who all were looking really good, and overall, the Steelers just looked like they had a very good offensive line. The only problem was they just needed to have a solid up front and pretty much in pass protection. And if that would have been the case, then they would have been having a much better offensive line. But still, the Steelers have I would say the Steelers have had a top 10 offensive line in the league last year. And overall, they are just looking like a very good team with that offensive line. Because, first off, last year, not only did they have an injured quarterback, but their running back also got injured. So the Steelers took some big hits. And if it wasn't for that offensive line, I don't think the Steelers would have been able to get 8 wins. But the offensive line was there, so that really helped them out. And that was a big key to them getting 8 wins. Now, it's not just the offensive line, but their defense is also looking really good. When you've got players like Mika Fitzpatrick, TJ Watt, Cameron Howard, or Javon Hargrave, or Tyson Alualu. This is just looking like a very strong defense with not a lot of weaknesses. So, last year, in 3 years, they would get over 50 sacks. So, that was really good. And, their defense was looking strong. One of the biggest reasons why the Steelers were good last year, well, it was because of their offensive line and their defense. They were both looking really strong. And according to PFF, which we have mentioned them before on this channel, they said on Twitter that they think the most viable defensive line in 2019 was number 1, the Pittsburgh Steelers, number 2, the 49ers, number 3, the Rams, and number 4, the Buccaneers. So they think that the Pittsburgh Steelers had the best defensive line in 2019. Now, this is another reason why the Steelers just don't look like they're really rebuilding. Because when you've got that type of defensive line, that type of offensive line, I don't see why you should be rebuilding. You should still be trying to make the playoffs. And, well, not just that, but this is just something else I want to throw out, you guys. Now, I know the Steelers did get rid of Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. They didn't get them. They just got rid of them. But there are other players that they didn't get rid of, like Juju Smith-Schuster. They didn't get rid of him. They kept him. Now, what am I really trying to say, you guys, is that they didn't get rid of all their big players. If they would have gotten rid of Juju Smith, then I would have been like, okay, maybe they're rebuilding. But no, they kept him. And I have a feeling that just means that the Steelers are still willing to contend. All they really need, though, is just to have a healthy quarterback. Now, Ben Roethlisberger, he's getting old. That's a big problem, because when you get old, the chances of you getting injured go way higher. It's going to skyrocket. So he's going to have to try to be healthier. And, well, Mason Rudolph, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I just don't think he's suitable to be the starter. Ben Roethlisberger is looking much better as a starting quarterback. It's just how long will he last as that starting QB? Because the man is getting old, and I have a feeling he's going to want to retire soon, because he's definitely not going to be the quarterback for another 3 years, I would say. Because he's getting old, and if he gets injured again, then it's really going to suck. But I want you guys to let me know down in the comments, what do you think? Do you think the Steelers are still rebuilding, or are going to be rebuilding, or do you think they're still contending? That's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all next time. I'm out.